Sam, when did you guys arrive at this decision?
Made the decision yesterday morning and got on a plane to come down here and talk with AC and the coaches in person.
It's 27 games in the season, basically, Craig. Why now? Why not wait out? We always talk about small sample sizes. Why not see?
Sure. Well, first, I would just want to echo Sam's sentiments about Alex, what he's meant to this organization and the staff, and thank them for all of their contributions. But answering your question directly, it really comes down to the belief that we have in the players and the belief that we have in the group to accomplish what we set out to accomplish. And by acting today, it gives us 135 games ahead of us. So we've got almost a full season's worth of run to take advantage of this fresh start and ultimately to compete for a division and a deep postseason run in the way that we talked about it and envisioned and believed, heading into spring training.
Craig, a couple of weeks ago you said that you believe changes along these lines in season, including early in the season, often make things worse. What changed?
Yeah, again, ultimately, responsibility for the performance on the field, it falls on me as the leader of the baseball operation. But so too does the responsibility for doing everything that I can and everything that the organization can to find solutions. And right now, we feel like these changes were warranted. And we're really, excited about the chance for Chad to come in and be a consistent, stabilizing voice and one that, a majority of our player group is familiar with.
But if a couple of weeks ago you thought these changes did not work, what did you see in the ensuing couple of weeks that led you / the group / ownership to go for this?
Sure. Well, certainly the performance on the field has not been what we expected. And beyond that, again, this is a decisive, and convicted demonstration of the confidence we have in our player group.
Right. How would you characterize what your working relationship was like with Alex, and particularly in this season? And is that part of the equation here that you guys were no longer as aligned as you wanted to be?
I actually think I have a very good working relationship with Alex. Certainly, neither of us was satisfied with the start that we got off to, but we continued to bounce ideas off of each other to put all potential solutions on the table. Ultimately, as an organization, as a baseball operation, alongside ownership, we reached the decision yesterday to make these changes.
Between the two of you and John, who ultimately made this decision, what is the process there? Does Craig make a recommendation? Is it something you bring to Craig? How does that happen?
Yeah, look, Craig leads our baseball operation, and he's made several bold decisions and recommendations, and this was one of them, and we fully support it, and that's why we took the action we took yesterday.
What does John Henry think of all of this?
I think it's evident by his presence here that this was a collaborative decision, and we were together as a group.
Sam, you said this move was necessary in your mind. That would seem to obviously suggest not being satisfied with the job that Alex was doing as manager. For either of you, specifically, what would you say was not working that Alex was doing that you thought had to change?
Yeah, I could say that, I don't think it's productive to get into the merits of an individual decision or action outside of saying that, again, we believe in the group of players that we have in the clubhouse down the hallway, and we believe that a new direction is warranted, new voices, and something that enables us to take a fresh start.
Craig, the team as a whole has struggled, but the pitching has also underperformed, and that side of the coaching staff was mostly intact. What went into who stayed in and who went from the coaching staff, for both of you?
Sure. It is true that we have fallen short in terms of the performance across hitting, pitching, defense, base running. But as it relates to kind of the staff and trying to tease out, exactly what's driving that, have confidence in the pitching group's ability to turn that around. And I think we've seen evidence of that with Ranger and with Garrett, and have the full confidence in that group to be able to get us on track.
What made Chad the right choice for you guys, as opposed to somebody maybe on the major league staff or from the outside, and how many people were considered for that position?
Sure. Chad has been in the organization for a while. He's managed at the highest level of our minor league system, and he's familiar with meaningful relationships with a majority of our roster, given just kind of the young players that we do have. He's demonstrated an ability to get the most out of that group, and I think equally important is his ability to build relationships with veteran guys and earn trust and respect, and then also just to be a consistent and familiar and stabilizing voice.
And the interim tag for the rest of the year?
We believe that Chad is the right guy to handle this transition, and we're going to put all of our effort into supporting him to do that, and we'll kind of figure out where that leads us.
So you're open then to hiring a more permanent manager in season?
We could be. It could also be that Chad is exactly what we're looking for. We have full confidence in him. We believe that to be the case. But any time a team is not performing, I think you have to look at all options.
Sam, can you say if John Henry considered answering questions with us? Have you suggested it to him? Has it come up, or would he? This is a pretty seismic day in the organization to not be able to ask the owner.
Yeah, John Brez and I have been together for the past 72 hours, and have been working on this process together. So I'll leave that at that.
Who would be the bench coach?
We're still working through that. Obviously, things have moved pretty quickly, and particularly for Trace. But what I told him is we want to make this as comfortable as possible, and so I want him to give some thought to that. And I know he's got relationships with many of the people on staff, and we'll kind of figure out exactly who takes on those responsibilities.
Sam, you said that Craig's made many bold decisions over his tenure here, and that this is one of them. Is it fair then to characterize this particular decision as, Craig-led?
Absolutely. I mean, we hired Craig to be our chief baseball officer. He runs the baseball operation. We are a front office-led baseball operation, and our job is to support the entire group the best we possibly can, and that's what we did in this instance.
So are there any other coaching additions immediately outside of Epperson, Hetzler?
There will be. We're still kind of working through the specific logistics, but again, kind of similar to answering that bench coach question. Once Trace has a chance to get his feet under him a little bit, we're going to talk through where he feels like he can be complimented.
What will Jason Veritek's role be going forward?
Yeah, we're still working through that and having conversations, and obviously Tech is an incredibly meaningful and important and revered member in this organization, who has a ton of respect from me, but I think those conversations are best handled in private.
Can we assume that it will not be in uniform in the dugout?
Yes.
Sometimes the team, they'll get rid of some coaches first. It's kind of a first step to see if that kind of helps. Is that under consideration, or why did you just decide to go all in with AC and several coaches all at the same time?
Sure. I think in terms of what was under consideration, again, when the performance on the field, is not what you expect, you have to put all options on the table. But we decided, kind of broader change and new voices and new direction was appropriate here.
Have you guys spoken to the players yet about this, and how much concern is there for a fairly young clubhouse to deal with this kind of change?
Yeah, just spoke to the players. Trace just spoke to the players, and I think that they are an incredibly talented and mature group, and certainly the fact that they have a relationship with Trace has helped, and we're going to be here to support them.
When a decision like this is made, are the opinions and perspectives of the players in that room taken into account? Were they consulted or maybe used as a sounding board during this process at all?
No, I don't think it's fair to ask players if they think change is appropriate. At least in my experiences as a player, that question has never been brought to me. I think my job, our job as an organization is to try and support the players as best we can, to try and create the environment around the players that allows them to perform at a really high level. And we felt like this decision allows us to do that.
Were there any sentiments maybe bubbling up from the clubhouse, either in support or in dissent of Alex over the last couple of weeks?
I think Alex has incredibly strong relationships with the players, with the staff. I think that's evident in terms of the connection that he's able to make and the communicator that he is. But again, I think kind of trying to figure out exactly what player sentiment is, can be very, very difficult.
Sam, what level of concern, if any, do you have about kind of the blowback, the frustration, and this perception that you guys are a bit rudderless right now?
Listen, when you underperform, there's always concern about blowback. Our job is to do the best we possibly can to block out the noise and make the right decisions for the franchise. But we are well aware the passion in Red Sox Nation is unlike anywhere else, and goes with the territory. It's what we sign up for. We've been around for a long time. We're from here. We know exactly what our fans expect, and it's our job to achieve our goals. And we have underperformed, and that's a large reason as to why we're sitting here right now.
You said you felt responsible for the product on the field. You pretty famously were the one that kind of pivoted to run prevention approach over the off-season. Are there any second thoughts about the direction you took in assembling this roster, given how it's performed?
Well, I think you work backwards from the last statement, which is how we're performing, and we are clearly not performing, up to our expectations, up to the players' kind of historical track records. I think we need to do everything possible to get there, and then determine exactly, kind of whether or not this was the right strategy. But step one is getting players to perform, the way that they have historically, the way that we believe that they can, and putting support in terms of staff and resources around them in order to do that.
Can you take us through the process yesterday at the hotel, just kind of how things went down?
I've just, at a high level, say it was critically important to John and to myself and to Brez to have the conversations in person directly with those impacted. And that's what we did. Everyone handled those conversations professionally. They're really hard conversations because you build relationships over a long period of time. But it was really important to us, regardless of the choppiness that may come with making a decision like this on the road. It was just important that we had those discussions directly with the guys impacted.
And how long was your meeting with Alex?
I'm not going to get into specifics about meetings, but appreciate those guys and how they handled it.
Sam, on the topic of sort of timing and executing this, what specifically about maybe this week prompted you to act yesterday? The sweep at the hands of the Yankees, the first loss here on Friday night. What was it that sort of pushed things over the edge for you?
Yeah, I would start by saying when the product on the field is not, is not what you had expected, you have to be willing to consider everything. I would also say that, baseball is not a sport that lends itself to being evaluated game to game, right? And so, I don't think you look at any individual performance and say that is a reason. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's a great way to make decisions. Ultimately, when we reached a decision, we executed on it. And this is really about looking forward. It's about the amount of season that's in front of us. It's about our belief in the players, and it's about giving them every possibility to get where we want to go.
What would qualify as a success for the rest of the season?
But I don't think our goals have changed. We talked all off season, all spring training about building a team that could compete for the division and making it to the postseason.
Does Alex give the option of moving forward as manager with different coaches?
I don't think it makes a ton of sense to get into specifics of conversations.
Great. What decisions do you want to trace to make on the field? Maybe some positions changes or something like that?
I don't have a specific set of, this is the way that things need to be run. We brought Trace in because we believe in his ability to connect with people and build relationships, and because of his baseball knowledge and that he was a very successful manager in AAA. I think our job as a front office is to provide the manager and the coaching staff with the best support and the best information we can to enable them to make the decisions in real time that they see fit.
Greg, is there anything more than wins and losses at play here? Like Wilson Contreras has talked about the energy being low throughout the year. There's been, a player get benched on the first road trip, different things. Is there anything in the kind of, I don't want to say off the field, but more than the wins and losses part of this equation?
No, I mean, ultimately, this is the big leagues, and it is a results-oriented business, and we need to win more games. We need to perform better. Some of those things that you talked about, like they might be underlying, in a way that, not being in the clubhouse every day, I don't have like the perfect appreciation for. But from our perspective, like I said, this is about looking forward and moving forward, and the opportunity to have a fresh start starting today.
Sam, would you classify Alex Cora's tenure as successful?
Oh, without a doubt. Alex will go down as one of the best managers in Red Sox history. Incredible track record. And as I said at the outset, he leaves a great legacy in Boston, and we're very grateful for it.
Craig, sports, it's often like presented as kind of a power struggle. Like when you took the job, Alex was here, and then you maybe have some different philosophies. Like, do you feel like that's a fair characterization, that maybe, that kind of you're the one who gets to keep going with your way because, and Alex doesn't, you know what I mean? Like you kind of won out. Is that a fair?
No, I think characterizing a relationship as a power struggle is unfair. I look at these roles as a partnership. As someone that I can bounce ideas off of, he can bounce ideas off of. Ultimately, again, this is about needing to do everything we possibly can to give ourselves to have the best, 135 games from here forward.
And what do you feel like you have to, maybe you don't even feel that way, but what do you have to prove now in sort of having this all put in your lap, even the way, I know that was there anyway, but the way that Sam kind of put all that confidence now behind you.
Yeah, ultimately, I think when anyone signs up for these jobs, they're taking responsibility, they're taking accountability for the performance on the field. What I need to do at this point is to be a kind of calming, steadying voice for the players, for the staff, and to continue to provide as much support and resources as I possibly can.
When did the possibility of coaching staff changes first come up for you guys?
I don't have a specific date. I think. We went into when we came into spring training, confidence in our coaching staff, and confidence in the roster. We didn't get off to the performance, the start that we had wanted, and then in the same way that you would ask questions about process, about players and roster, you ask questions about staff members, but. Ultimately, like Sam has said a number of times here, when we reached the decision, we felt like the most kind of respectful and fairest way to proceed was to execute on it as quickly as possible.
How do you decide who stays and who goes? Like if one assistant hitting coach stayed, two hitting coaches that are gone, like how are those kind of individuals sitting in the game?
Yeah, again, you kind of try to evaluate what you believe best positions the group to be successful going forward.
Craig, what have the last couple of days been like for you? This, Sam said, was led by you. Was there a thought to giving it more time, and how, this is the first time you've fired a manager. What is that all been like for you?
Yeah, on a human level, on a personal level, it's incredibly difficult. These are people that you build close relationships over multiple years. They are really, really good people, good fathers, good husbands, and so, I think we tend to think about only the professional aspect of this, but the human side makes it just unbelievably difficult. You wrestle with these things, but when you get to the point where you feel like this is the best decision for the organization and the best decision for the players, no matter how difficult, you have to do it.
Did you seriously consider waiting or no? Was it a tough internal struggle to maybe get to May or get to Memorial Day or anything like that, or?
Yeah, I think you always consider the alternatives, right? And being being too late is maybe equally problematic. More problematic is being too early. But when you're talking about people's lives and people's jobs, you want to make sure that you are fully confident that it's the right decision.
27 games isn't a ton of hindsight, but with what we do know, what we see, do you feel like you put Alex in a good position to succeed coming into this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about the fact that ultimately the accountability for the roster falls on me, and this was a challenging roster to manage, just given kind of the position player group. That's something that I acknowledge, and I acknowledged it with Alex talking to him yesterday.
How do you believe your relationship with Chad will look different from your relationship with Alex?
I worked intimately with Alex for 2+ seasons. Chad and I have kind of worked together and spent time together as I've visited Worcester. But I think it's going to be a hard question to answer until we have a chance to build that relationship and build that trust. My hope is that it is a very collaborative partnership, and he views me as someone he can bounce ideas off of. I view him as someone that I can bounce ideas off of, and together, we're able to make great decisions for the Boston Red Sox.
Sam, as you know,
the phrase you said, we're a front office-led organization. A little more of like what that means to you, and does that sort of preclude the type of manager that Alex is, a little bit more, inside baseball, if you were, like, what does that mean to you, a front office-led organization?
Look, we have to empower our chief baseball officer, Craig, and his team to run the baseball operation. There's a sacred sort of partnership between the front office and the clubhouse, and so that's what I mean by that. Craig and his team are leading the baseball operation. They have been ever since we hired him, and so that's what I meant by that. And our job is to identify the people to lead the baseball operation and to get behind them and support them at every turn.
Sam, over the last 10 years or so, there's been a decent amount of upheaval in the organization. Changes and firings of 3 lead baseball executives, now this. Do you worry about the perception of the organization perhaps looking to scapegoat, or that there's instability given all the changes you've been through?
Yeah, change is really hard, and it's not something that we seek out. It's on us in ownership and executive leadership to identify the right people for every area of the organization, from baseball operations to the business side, and so that's ultimate accountability is with us. And we have to get this team. Getting back to October last year was a huge first step. And again, as I said earlier, ultimately performance at the major league level is really all that matters. And we've got to win baseball games to get back to October and get there on a consistent basis. And this year, the goal is to do that and take that next step forward when we get there.
Sam, was John Henry part of the players-only meeting? Or?
Yeah, John was a part of the meetings yesterday and a part of the meetings that we just had this morning.
And did he leave today or no?
No.
Okay. Do you think it's important that maybe he speak to some of these changes that are happening?
Look, Craig and I have a job to do, and this is our job.
Are you guys staying through this game, or are you going to continue to travel with the team, or what? What are your plans?
I'm going to stay on.
Craig's going to stay with the team.
Through the end of the road trip.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you being here.